This video is based on why corporate social responsibility is ethical and required, using references from the deontological moral theory, the stakeholder theory, and the moral argument theory. This presentation is by Marisol, Madison, Bailey, Gabriel, and Taylor from Group 5.
Hello, this is Group 5's Ethical Analysis presentation, and our topic is on corporate social responsibility. To define corporate social responsibility, also known as CSR, Archie B. Carroll, who is a CSR expert, business management author, and professor, defines it as businesses practicing social responsibility by attending to 4 different needs: economic, legal, ethical, and philanthropic expectations that society has of organizations at a given point in time. CSR has helped play a role in business performances since the 1990s, and has helped these businesses emerge towards becoming more sustainable as well as socially accountable. So some examples of ways that corporate responsibility can be incorporated into the business include using environmental efforts. So one primary focus of corporate social responsibility would be the environment. Philanthropy is another good one. Businesses can practice social responsibility by donating money, products, or services to social causes and nonprofits. Ethical labor practices can also be incorporated by allowing employees to be treated fairly and ethically. And volunteering is also another practice in which employees can attend volunteer events, which would say a lot about a company's sincerity. So Starbucks here would be a leading example of a hospitality company in particular engaging in this philanthropy by initiating corporate responsibility programs that help promote awareness towards issues such as sustainability and community welfare. Through implementing these CSR programs, hospitality brands like Starbucks gain recognition for their sense of strong morale and connectedness towards their environment. With CSR programs on the rise, some hospitality organizations believe that their social responsibility only entails the use of resources and engagement in activities to increase their profits. Others, on the other hand, believe that as an organization, it's their ethical responsibility and obligation to improve the overall welfare of their society. Although many critics have reason to believe that CSR is used for the sole purpose of the greater good, it's not the same for others, and they believe it's only for public relations. In regards to the hospitality industry, our main argument here is that our organizations have an ethical responsibility to help maintain and improve society's welfare through CSR. And there are several ethical theories to help support our argument. First of all, corporate social responsibility is ethical due to hospitality's central mission towards sustainability, and this is backed by the deontological moral theory, as well as its commitment to community through the stakeholder theory, and a moral obligation to do what is considered right through the moral argument theory.
CSR is ethical because sustainability is central to the mission of the hospitality industry. The increasing growth of the tourism industry has given more visibility to its environmental impacts and has raised concern about how the lodging industry is dealing with them. Tourism is now considered a major contributor to climate change, which is why this topic has become so important today. As a result of this concern, the industry is developing voluntary-based tools to help reduce its environmental impact long-term. This can also satisfy an ever-increasing market segment that is geared towards green consumers. In turn, the hospitality industry is also vulnerable to worsening environmental quality, as in many places, weather and natural attractions can be a core driver of an organization. When thinking of sustainability in CSR, one can apply the deontological theory. This moral theory implies that fulfilling an obligation, such as sustainability, has a positive result, while failing to do so has a negative result. Hospitality organizations have a moral obligation to participate in sustainability, and it usually results in a positive response from consumers and other organizations. Sustainable coffee fills a green market niche of consumers that are willing to pay higher prices for ethically sourced coffee, meaning the consumers are very receptive to sustainability in the hospitality industry. Sustainably produced coffee and products represent a positive image to consumers and other businesses to follow the same standard and receive the same success in turn. Managers are also willing to accept these changes if it results in healthy practices that benefit the environment and consumers alike. Starbucks became the first well-known organization to participate in sustainable practices. They recycle, source their coffee ethically, and provide incentives for avoiding plastic cups and more. Starbucks represents this moral theory in that they source their products sustainably and make a conscious effort to better the environment. In turn, they have a loyal customer base that keeps coming back.
The moral argument theory defends that corporate social responsibility is an ethical practice. Now, this argument suggests that it is the corporation's obligation to practice in an ethical manner to their employees, consumers, and the community outside of any monetary gains the corporation makes. This argument focuses heavily on responsibility, obligation, and the accountability that corporation has to their employees and the consumers as well. Corporations should practice good employee morale, show great publicity, and do no harm to the community. This illustration by Jack Richardson is a great example of what we're looking for within the moral argument theory and why corporate social responsibility is ethical. Now, depicted in the image, we could see employees working together who seem to be in high morale, taking care of the people in this community by feeding them, assisting them while walking, and even cleaning up after everybody. This pretty much touches bases on everything we are looking for within the moral argument theory. In the hospitality industry, we specifically demand that corporations practice in an ethical manner to help maintain and improve society's welfare. On the left side of the screen here, we can see a screenshot from MGM Resorts Properties on their homepage, pretty much offering a problem gambler's guideline for those employees and consumers who are affected by problem gambling. You can see just a couple of subjects such as the early signs of problem gambling, how you can self-assess yourself, and then it offers resources, 24-hour confidential hotlines, provides phone numbers that you can contact people at, and yeah, it's a good example of what corporations are doing nowadays to really put an emphasis on the responsibility that they have to their communities and such. And the Las Vegas corporations do a great job of doing that. On the right-hand side here is a fun little image I found online. This is a little blueprint for mental health workplace programs that many corporations are offering as resources for their employees in the workplace. In today's world, mental health has been a trending issue for a lot of employees, and it is very important for corporations to practice in an ethical manner by offering resources as such to help the overall well-being of their employees. So they do a very good job of doing so.
Now, for our last theory, which is stakeholder theory. Corporate social responsibility is ethical because it focuses on incorporating social interest in business operations. Stakeholder theory mainly looks at the company from the perspective of the company itself and the perspective of the company's immediate stakeholders. Primary stakeholders represent those individuals or groups who have a greater influence on the organization. They include a business customer, employees, investors, suppliers, government agencies, and the local community. These groups are of the utmost importance because the business relies on them for a long-term survival. For example, the Body Shop is known for adopting an activist social purpose and establishing recycling measures. When the company was questioned, the Body Shop provided detailed reports to its suppliers and customers. Customers can use their buying power to influence organizational leaders to make ethical decisions. Employees and investors may also put pressure on leaders, influencing the decision-making process differently. Think about the impact on a business if its customers stopped buying products or investors withdrew their investment. Under the stakeholder theory, the business manager's top priority should be satisfying the various interests of these groups. Secondary stakeholders are not as critical as primary stakeholders, but they can still influence public perception of the business. Common secondary stakeholders include special interest groups and media. These groups don't conduct business regularly with the organization, but what they do communicate or choose to communicate can have an impact on public perception. For example, the British petroleum oil spill crisis was the most serious corporate crisis in the oil industry. It started when oil from the Deepwater Horizon exploded. It was reported that 1,000 barrels were being spilled each day, but it soon escalated to 5,000 per day. British Petroleum had taken all the efforts to repair its battered image in the wake of the oil spill. Although the criticism was certainly warranted, media played a significant role in transmitting information related to the British Petroleum decision that led to the explosion and subsequent oil spill. The idea behind the stakeholder theory is the business managers need to maintain a positive relationship with society and their environment if they are to operate effectively. Failure to do so can harm a business reputation and ultimately affect their ability to operate.
Now, when reflecting on all the information presented, we believe that corporate social responsibility is ethical, and we believe it plays an imperative role in the growth and the outreach of a company. Many successful businesses are aware that a company's portrayal of its brand highly impacts its consumers. This fact is corroborated by a statement from former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz, who stated, "If people believe they share values with the company, they will stay loyal to the brand." His statement is complemented by the picture on the right of Starbucks' efforts toward the fight against deforestation. And this all aids in our arguments and further speaks on how the building of a brand and the gain of consumers is achieved through the implementation of CSR programs. Now, with corporate social responsibility, there comes the rebuttals. In one study done by Elaine Wong of the UC Riverside School of Business Administration and Margaret Ormiston of the London Business School stated that when a company willingly acts in a way that benefits interests beyond those of said company, it morally frees them to worry less about consequences of future immoral acts. Now, although there are people who speak about companies unknowingly exercising more corporate social irresponsibilities than their CSR programs, many believe that this simply aids in showing more of a human nature aspect of the brand, which aids in the relatability for the consumers. All in all, corporate social responsibility is ethical and required. And when you reflect on a company's efforts displayed through the CSR programs, such as how they are practicing sustainability in the workplace, how they are ensuring that everyone a part of the company has a voice, and simply how they are conducting their workplaces in a manner that is ethically correct, you will see why corporate social responsibilities and those programs is a company's work toward a greater impact in the world and should be required by all. We hope you've learned something new, and we thank you for listening.